When you first talk to a real estate agent, most of the conversation is centered around all that fun stuff. How many bedrooms you want, how many bathrooms, square feet, all that fluffy, fun stuff that, gets people excited. But before you dive into that, I think there are three really important questions you need to ask yourself that will sway your decision on whether now is the right time to buy or if you should hold off on buying. My name is Leo Lupoli and I am a Boise, Idaho real estate agent, and I help you buy and sell real estate the modern way and make sure you're educated and well equipped and that you have all the tools you need to make that decision on whether to buy a house or not. So if these three questions resonate with you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, follow along so you can be informed with the latest and greatest information. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, what's your timeline? When do you want to move in by? And I know most of you already have an idea. Hey, Leo, I want to move in June. I'm aiming for summer. You got a good idea. But really, you need to dig just a little bit deeper and really pin down a date you want to move in by. Because there's nothing fun about when you go out, look for houses, you find the house you want, and you tell your real estate agent, hey, let's put an offer in. And they type up the contracts and, they just go on autopilot, punch in 30, 45 days approximate for closing. And you sign the contract without really thinking about it. Your offer was strong, it gets accepted. Now you're in a legally binding contract with a close date you probably didn't consider too much about. You just said, hey, 30, 45 days, that's fine. We'll be ready. But there's two scenarios that can happen. Well, really three scenarios that can happen. One, you're in the middle of a lease. Two, you need to sell your home before you move into the new home. Or three, you're living with family, and that doesn't really count because you can just, hey mom, see you later, I'm moving to my house, right? So let's look at here the calendar here. Let's say your lease expires on April 1st and you close on your new house April 15th. Well, that gives you a 2-week gap of nowhere to live, nowhere to go, nowhere to put all your stuff. You're gonna have to spend extra money on a hotel room or an Airbnb, kind of a waste of money and just a big hassle. Good practice is to give yourself about 2 to 3 weeks worth of buffer time between the two dates. So let's say your lease ends July 1st, you should be closing on your house mid-June. And given the average escrow of 30 days, you should be in contract about mid-May. Now, given your wants, needs, and how many houses are available for you, and really your personal decision-making skills, how easy is it for you to pick a house and be happy with it? Or are you second-guessing all the time, this isn't the right house, and you just keep looking, 10, 15, 20, 30 houses? Considering all of that, you really should start looking for a house in April or March. So really, that's about a 4-month timeline that you need to figure out. Can you get out of your lease? Can you sell your home in time? Can you get out of your current living situation and be able to slide into your new home, with ease, with enough time to move in without having to get an Airbnb or a hotel or a storage unit or anything like that? And that leads us to question number 2. Are you prepared for this market? The key words being this market. Because the reality is you can go online, turn on the news, go on social media, and you got everyone sharing their opinion about what's going on in the market, right? Prices are high, market's gonna crash, interest rates are high, don't buy now. Oh, interest rates will be fine in a couple of years, just refinance. Very last thing I want you to do though is to jump onto social media and listen to that real estate agent or lender who's, buy now, it's a great time to buy, go do it, just refinance later. Don't do that. Go talk to a trusted local real estate agent and ask them for the market data. Ask what's happening in the market. What are they seeing? Or if you got a friend who had just moved to the area, pry into their business. Do they face multiple offers? Or is it over asking, under asking? Were they able to get seller concessions? How long did closing take? Did they hit any bumps or hiccups? Also, really look into your finances. Do you have enough saved up? Let's take a $400,000 house. Let's say you're putting the bare minimum of just 3.5% down. That comes out to about $15,000. Do you have $15,000 saved up? Because I'll tell you right now, even if you do, that's not enough money. You still have to pay for inspection fees, appraisal fees, and some closing costs. Let's say it comes out to a total of $22,000. That's probably still not enough. That is what we call being house poor. If you spend all your savings to buy the house, and let's say you move in and your AC unit breaks or the roof starts leaking, you already depleted your savings account. You have no money to fix any problems that happen after you purchase that home. You can't just call your landlord to come over and fix it. The last thing I want you to do is become house poor. Make sure you have enough, not just for the down payment, for the closing costs, but enough to sustain you if something happens after you close on that home. So really ask the question, are you prepared to buy the home now? Or do you need to wait till next year to purchase that home? That kind of rolls us into question number 3. Can you comfortably afford buying a home? The key word being comfortably. Just because you got pre-approved for a $500,000 loan doesn't mean you can actually afford that. I'm going to say this slowly. Buy what you can afford, not what you've been pre-approved for. So let's do a quick case study, but I'm going to preface this by saying I am not a lender and I am just ballparking some numbers out here. Talk to a lender to get some accurate numbers. If you need to be put in touch with one, reach out to me and I will put you in touch with one. Let's look at this. Family income has a monthly income of $5,000. And right off the bat, a lender is going to do what we call a debt to income ratio, which is simple terms, money in minus the money out. And they have a range of how much money they're going to allow you to spend on a mortgage. Now, I've seen some lenders go high as 50%, a little bit above that. For the sake of this, we're just going to use 50% debt to income ratio, which means that $5,000 is now $2,500. And let's say this family has a car payment of $250. That leaves you a mortgage of $2,250. So depending on the rates that you get and the down payment that you put down, you're looking at a home in the $350,000 to $400,000 range. So you're probably thinking, hey, boom, we got it. We can afford a home. Let's go do it. Let's go house hunt and let's go purchase. Hit the brakes there, all right? Because we know $5,000 is probably not what they're actually taking home. After taxes, it's probably going to come down to $3,800. So let's do the 50% debt to income ratio there. Half of $3,800 is $1,900 minus that car payment. Now we're down at $1,650. Good luck finding a home with a mortgage payment of $1,600. So if you actually bought the home that you're approved for with the $2,250 payment, that now is technically above your 50% debt to income ratio. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call being house broke. Over half your money is going to your mortgage, leaving you less for groceries, gas, vacations, savings, all that good stuff. And also keep in mind, it's your house now. You can't just call a landlord if your roof busts or if your heater busts in the middle of winter. This is where I step in and have that heart-to-heart conversation with you about maybe buying now is not the right time and probably going to be house poor. Now, I can't make that decision for you. At the end of the day, that's your decision to make. But it's critical that you understand that just because you've been approved for something doesn't mean you can actually afford it. So here's a general rule when it comes to debt to income ratio. It shouldn't be more than 30%. Now, some people argue you can go a little bit higher, you need to go lower. Honestly, 30% is a good number to remember and easier to do the math with. So when you run the numbers with 30% using that last example, that's going to drop the purchasing power down to the 200s. And in the Boise market, good luck. That's going to be tough. You're definitely going to have a fixer-upper, or you got to be open to a manufactured home. That's a possibility, but that opens a whole nother ballpark of issues with getting a loan for a manufactured home. You're probably going to have to hold off on making a purchase. You're going to have to save some money and go nudge arms with the head honcho and ask for a raise, get a part-time job, ask people for money, do what you got to do. Save some money, whatever the case may be. Now, I've had this conversation with past clients before. I explained to them debt to income, being house poor, but they were a young couple and they were determined to be homeowners. So we went forward with the deal. Fortunately, we got the sellers to pay for the closing costs and they bought the house. They were homeowners. And unfortunately, maybe 2 months in, they were hit with an unexpected cost and one of the water pipes burst. Fortunately for them, they were able to scavenge some money, fix it up. They decked out their house and they were able to split the top and the bottom. And now they're renting it out on Airbnb and they are crushing it, proving me wrong. And this all goes back to the 3 questions. They knew what their timeline was. They synced it up with the expiration of their lease so they were able to slide right into their new home. We discussed the market heavily. We toured some homes. We talked about what we're seeing in the market, what we're seeing in the rental market. They were prepared for this. And they had a much higher risk tolerance than I ever could have. And they were able to live within their means, pull through for a couple months, and now look at it. It's a full functioning Airbnb, and they knocked their debt to income ratio down to 30%, where it should be. So the point is you need to have a much deeper conversation with your real estate agent, with your lender, and most importantly, with yourself. If you were a little hesitant on one of these questions, I'd say hold off on the house search. Let's go do some research. Let's reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate our budget, and maybe we have to purchase next year. If you confidently were able to answer all these questions, I'd say you're about ready to buy a house. And if you're looking to buy in the Boise, Idaho area, please reach out to me. I would be more than happy to interview for the job to help you find a house, negotiate the deal, and get you the keys. Nonetheless, please subscribe to my channel, follow along for the latest and greatest information, and for some amazing homes. I'll see you guys on the next one.